Hello and welcome to North Star Stamper. I'm Sue Kremer. These are all the places you can find me online. I have a website where I post my cards and I do some blog posting as well. That's my blog. My website is where you can order Stampin' Up! Products through me. I can't find my video on my tablet because I like to interact with you. That's half the fun of doing these lives. There we are. Obviously, we're here on Facebook. If all goes well, I do post my videos to YouTube, and I have a few things on Pinterest as well, so hopefully you can find me there. One of the fun things about taking pictures of my projects is I realize there are things I'd like to do different if I made it again, so that's one of the benefits. I took a picture of this and sent it to my sister, and I realized I would like to do something different. So the card we're going to make is very similar. It'll still have this hole in the front, and it'll be a wreath, and it'll be a fall themed birthday card. And the colors, we're going to use some different designer series paper. I think the stamps are all going to be the same though. So we are using the Gilded Autumn Suite from the mini catalog, and that starts on page 44. I used the plaid on this card here, and that I think it's called Plaid Tidings, also in the mini catalog. And that there's a whole suite that goes with that, but I just obviously use the designer series paper. I love those colors. It just happened to tie in with the colors I used on my leaves. And that is on page 56 of the mini catalog. So while we're waiting for people to join us, thank you for joining me. Thank you, thank you. We are also going to be using, instead of the plaid, I have from the annual catalog the In Good Taste designer series paper, and that's on page 148. While we wait for more people to join us, and I hope you can see this, I bought this. It's actually supposed to be a plate holder, and sorry you can't see it very well. I'll post a picture later. It's supposed to be a plate holder. Our Pier 1 is going out of business here in town, and so I bought this for $15. It's really heavy. So I found a use for my old, this is not the one that has cracked, but an old plate from the Big Shot. And right now it holds, I don't know if you can see, my catalogs very well. I have some folders that I need to find. And then my, you know what, let's see if I can move you up. You know, I'm just going to pick up the phone, sorry. You can see there. It's got 6 or 8 slots in there, and I'm gonna find the folders that Stampin' Up! Gave me an event or two ago, and then I'm gonna put my projects that I'm working on in there. So that's my big tip for the day. Check out your stores going out of business. So let's get busy. Thank you for joining me. Hello, I see lots of family. My mom, my sister, and my niece. Lots of family. Thank you for joining me. There's our card. I think I'll leave it there so you can see what we're working on. Let's start with the card base and we'll move up from there. This is Early Espresso. You know me, my card bases are already cut, ready to go. I just need to fold it in half and burnish it flat. When I cut these from our 8.5 by 11. Obviously, I cut them in quarters, but I want the layer on the inside to be smaller than the base, so I end up with scraps. And this is how they're just in with my paper. This is what I'm going to use for my sentiment on the front, that have a beautiful day. So I don't throw things away. I won't keep them if they're too small, but those I've been using a lot. If you notice my cards, whenever they have a sentiment that's a narrow strip like that, chances are it's from the scraps from when I trimmed that down. So that's what that is. We're going to need one of those for the inside, and at least one of those. I have some of the leaves and acorns already punched out, but I will show you how I did that. The stamps I'm using, the Have a Beautiful Day, came from the Beautiful Autumn stamp set. And these leaves, let's see, that one, and that one. I think that's the maple, the oak, and the acorn. We have punches that coordinate with those, so no fussy cutting. We don't have a punch for the pine cone. That'd be easy to stamp and hand fussy cut, but I didn't do that on this card. And then this happy birthday on the inside of our little wreath came from Framed for You. I've been using this stamp set a lot, actually. The frame is fun to work with, and these are nice little sentiments to add to your cards when the sentiment isn't the focal point of your card. So obviously our wreath is here, the focal point. So let's get started. Okay, I have chosen from In Good Taste, I forget what it's called already. This designer series paper. In Good Taste, some darker wood greens. I think I am going to use the darkest one. And we're going to put that as a layer on the top of our card. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way first. Sorry if this is glaring. I think we want it to go this way for you, so I'm on the side, so I'm going to go sideways here. Our card is 4 1/4, so I'm going to make that 4. And it's 5 1/2, so I'm going to go 5 1/4. I like to push my paper towards this lip here and then hold it down here, and I always get nice straight cuts. I'm really loving our trimmer. So there's that. Let's put this away. Lots of choices in this designer series paper. There's things that look like tiles and other lighter wood greens. This is a really nice designer series paper. I think I've used it recently with you. I think we used it last week, didn't we? With that flower I made out of the punch, the vase punch. All right. So that is going to go on our card. Really dark, but that's right. I think it'll add enough. So now I'm not sure which one of these two, and this is from the Gilded Autumn. Sorry. The Gilded Autumn specialty paper, because one side, is probably the other on both of these, has, I think it's gold and copper foiling on them, but I want to use one of these sides. I think we're going to use the stripes. The herringbone, I think that's called herringbone. Sorry, I should put my comments on. Yeah, we're going to use that just because it's going to have some colors in there. And let's see how wide. Sorry, I don't even know how wide this was. It's 1 inch. I think we'll go a little wider. A little 1 1/4 inches. And I only want this to go across the wood grain, so that's 4 inches. So just a few little pieces. If you've already been using some designer series paper, this piece actually could have been found in your scrap pile. Put that out of the way. I think we're done cutting. So that's going to go like that, and that'll go like that. Now, we need to get that hole in there. We are going to use sorry for my reach. We're going to use a 2-inch circle punch, but first we're going to adhere this, that's the back side, isn't that pretty? Adhere the designer series paper. I'm just going to go on the top, on the bottom, and kind of towards the middle. Sorry, I'll leave that there. Trying to keep my space neater for you. I think it's much better if there's fewer distractions. Let's make sure we get this on the right side. Just going to center that. And then I'm going to take my punch and go from the top of the card. Here, I'll do it this way so it's the right way for you. The top of the card and center left to right. That's pretty close. I'm going to move when I punch though, because it's kind of loud and I don't want the circle to go flying. So there's our circle so far, our card. And I didn't put adhesive here, so you can use these pieces for something else. We won't be using them today. All right. What next? What next? Let's work on those leaves. Actually, I take that back. Let's just adhere this down. I feel like we're moving quickly on our card today, which is good. Hope everyone is well. If you get my newsletter, I commented that we've had some cool nights here in Minnesota, that fall is coming. Well, not so much yesterday, today, tomorrow, and I think even Wednesday. We have heat and humidity and chances of storms every day, so Yeah, summer's back. Anyway, back to our card. So this is going to go in here, and we'll stamp. Maybe we'll do that first. I am going to put this right where I want it and close it. And we'll get this framed for you. I'm going to do the happy birthday. I just cleaned my blocks, so these should all adhere very well. We're going to use early espresso because that matches the papers. Sorry, everybody's just saying hello. Let's put this back in there. Notice I have not adhered it. I always like to stamp first, so if I stamp it crooked or make a smudge, that looks good. I have my chamois here to clean off my stamp. Put that ink away so I don't, make sure it's dry. Okay, let's adhere that on the inside. I'm using our new seal adhesive. I am liking it. There's our card so far. Not so bad. You could even do that. I really like that wreath though. It was inspired by a card I saw on Pinterest or online somewhere, but I think they were inspired by a card that's in the catalog. So if you have your catalog handy, in that suite, in the Gilded Autumn suite, there is a card that has a wreath. And they use designer series paper. It's a little different, but I really like the whole in there. Now where am I going? All right, I have some of the things that we're going to put around there already. And I'll show you how I did these. I thought I was going to have to use glossy paper, and I found that that was not the case. We don't carry glossy paper anymore. I happen to have some in my stash. So you see some of these are shiny. I don't know if you can tell. Sorry. Others are not. And some were stamped. So that was just, see, it is white on the other side. Should get rid of my comments there. These were sponged actually, and then this one I stamped and then punched it out. I kind of like these that don't have the veins and all. The dark takes up so much of the color, so I like the variety. So we'll punch some, we'll stamp some, and we need to get busy. Alright, I did not put these on blocks yet because I want to show you how I do that. Because with these little ones, I try to be really careful not to lose them. So I put one on one side of my block. Actually, we're not going to be using this, but if I were, let's say I was going to just, I'll show you one. I put one, this is on this side, and this is on this side. So I put one on the top and one on the bottom, and then I know the two that go together. I do have a lot of blocks, so I'm able to do this with these. Let's get some of our paper in here. And it's a photopolymer stamp set, so we're using our Stamping Pierce mat. And let's just stamp a Cajun Craze one just to show you what I'm talking about. So ink that up, make sure you can see what I'm doing, and we'll stamp a couple. I kind of like the second generation. That one's really dark, and we will have leaves like that. And then I'm going to take early espresso for our outlines and ink that up. Can't see through there very well. They don't line up. Well, they would line up perfectly if I took my time and put my head right over, but I don't want my head in the camera view. So let's make sure that's clean. All right. So that is how I put my stamps when I have two stamps that go together. That's how I would do it. One on one side and one's on the other side. But that's not what we're going to do today. We are going to do some sponging. So I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper. And you'll notice some ink on here from a couple of weeks ago. Okay. And I have my sponges. Let's put the ink there. I have my sponges here, and I don't have them labeled. They're just, our sponges come in a circle and I cut them. I think I've talked about that. And to see what color this is, I just wipe it on my paper. So that's my green. So we're going to start. This does not include any green, but I decided because of the designer series paper, I'm going to add in mint macaron. I think I have some garden green here as well. All right, so we are going to just sponge. That's probably enough green. Let's move on to our next color. That's kind of a red. What do I have here? Cherry cobbler. Cajun Craze is pretty close. Well, it's reddish. Do I have a darker one? Let's see what I have here. That was probably cherry cobbler. Ah, that's right. Ooh, that's pretty. All right, let's add some yellow. I have some crushed curry. I think this is the right sponge. Maybe not. Nope, I think they're... Let's finish coloring this in. You could just use colored paper. I think it's really fun to create my own backgrounds. Sorry, I'm not watching comments. Hello, neighbor. All right. There. It looks like it's a mess, doesn't it? What else? I have pumpkin pie and crumb cake. I think that's good, though. We are going to use our punches. So I'm going to grab the 2 leaf punches and just punch a few like that without stamping the veins and outline. So you can, this is why I had extra. Ooh, look at that one, that's going to be pretty. So there's our leaf. Leave those there. Let me stamp the outline so you can see what that looks like. So so on these, remember I stamped the solid image. Here, I'm just going to stamp the outline in Early Espresso. Oh, I didn't put my Stampin' Pierce mat down, but it worked. And then you can take your punch. I'll line it up and then I'll show you. So you line it up like that and punch it out. And there you have it. There you go. Like I said, I kind of like them without the... That should be enough. If not, I have more paper. We can punch more leaves. Let's put that to the side. Now, for our acorns. Take another piece of paper. And I'm going to use crumb cake and Early Espresso. And I've got a mess here already, don't I? We're going to leave that in our view. Put that out of the way. I'm going to grab another block. And this is an H block, by the way. And I'm going to put one. So this actually has 3 parts. Sorry for that noise. It has the outline of the stamp. It has the cap. And I'm going to put the base and what's it called? That's the cap. What's this part called? So if I'm stamping like that, this does have the little point. It's not, it does have the point for the bottom of the acorn. So we'll stamp a couple with the outline and actually I think you kind of need the outline on this one. So, sorry, I keep forgetting to make sure I'm in view. We'll stamp the outlines first. I can't talk and line things up. And I made a mess, so I'm just going to use my 1/4 piece of chamois. We have somebody watching from the UK. Hello, Alan. All right. And we're going to use Cajun Craze for the And what is that part of the acorn called? I don't know. The base? I think. So there, I'm just going to line it up, and I have the point at the bottom. I think it's too dark if we do. So I'm going to stamp a second time without re-inking, and I kind of like that second one better. And then the cap of our acorns, let me finish those first while I have the Cajun Craze out. We'll do some of each. Oh, it moved. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Let's see what a third one looks like. There. And the cap we're going to do in crumb cake. I actually did pull up an acorn so I knew what colors they were supposed to be. This is crumb cake, and I'm going to put this way because that's how I have it on my, we'll do the darkest on there. Again, I think, whoops, I think I like the second generation better. I'm going to stamp it off for this last one. There. Oh, look at those. Those are really pretty. I do say so myself. Stamps, ink, and paper. That's all we have so far there. Now we're going to grab our acorn punch. Get these punched, and we'll put our card together. So we're going to line that up. I usually start with the stem and then line up the sides and then the point at the bottom. And sorry, I'm turning it over to when I punch so it goes into my hand rather than me losing it on the floor and knocking my camera when I go to get it. That should be enough with the ones I had done already. One more thing we need to stamp, and that's our Have a Beautiful Day. I think I need a drink of water. I'm talking so much. This is a trick I've been wanting to show you, and my videos have gotten so long, it just didn't happen. So this is our Stamparatus, a stamp positioning tool. I will do a separate video just on this tool. It is a really nice tool. It's a little pricey compared to some of our products, but it is worth it, I think. So you can see I have it stamped here, and this is just grid paper that I just cut down. You could use any kind of paper. I believe it's 7.5 by 7.5 is that surface. So I like the line on here so that with our photopolymers, or especially one like this, you can round it. You can see how I could round it onto a block. Here, I can do it on here and show you. I don't want it rounded. Oh, can you see? It's rounded there. And I would take time if I did want it rounded like that. But I want to put it on that scrap of cardstock, so I want it perfectly straight. So I'm going to try to line it up with that line there. Actually, we'll go down here. Can you still see what I'm doing? I hope. Let me know if you can't see. And the problem is the photopolymer sticks to my fingers. So I'm going to pick it up with this and use, here's my ink. I'm going to use the same ink we've been using early espresso. And you can't see. I'm going to ink it up. Try not to get too much on the corner there, and I did. Then I'm going to stamp it down and just push where my stamp is. That's pretty straight. I like that. So again, I'm going to take my scrap, I talked about this when we started, and I'm going to try to center it top to bottom, and I'm going to leave a bit on the end. I have an old banner punch we're going to use. And I know it's straight here, so if I put this pretty much in the middle and then line it up with these dots, actually we're going to hold it down with one of these really strong magnets. I'm going to ink. And before I put it all the way down to stamp it, I am pretty close to the middle. There we are. Have a beautiful day. Centered on a piece of scrap. I love it. All right, so I think maybe next week. We'll do next week or the first week in September. I think what I'm going to do is I have a few more things to add to my Let's Talk About series. I know I have not talked about ink. Let's talk about the Stamparatus. Let's talk about our cut and emboss machine. I'm trying to think. Let's talk about dies. Those are some in that series that we haven't done yet. So I think I'm going to do the let's talk about videos on the first Monday of the month. And then 2 Mondays I will do a video like this. And I have a new series I want to start next week. So you'll have to watch my Facebook page and website to learn about that. Ooh, I've got ink on my hands. Let's clean that off and make sure I don't get ink where I don't want it. Any questions? Oh, Anne says that part of the acorn is the nut. She put a question mark. So do you see what I'm doing here? I stuck my scrap inside from the back. And then I'm going to make sure it's not too tilted this way. I'm going to line it up straight and punch. This was a punch from Celebration several years ago, so I don't think it's current. But I use it a lot, you can see. And there's our sentiment. All right, let's clean up our mess here a little bit better and put our card together. So we need to put that on. And we'll just move stuff out of the way. We'll bring all of our flowers and our leaves and acorn in. And we have that. I forgot something. Well, I will do it without. That's fine. I was going to grab my silicone mat. All right. Oh, I have that ribbon here. This is also in the mini catalog. It's a metallic ribbon and it's really stiff. It's very nice. I don't know that I'd like to make a bow out of it. So to put these on, if I can get it working, I'm going to use this adhesive. I am not good with liquid adhesives. So I find this worked really well. Oh good, you can see what I'm doing. Just putting a little bit all the way around. Oh, that's kind of far out. Oh goodness. I'm having a time. I think I do need that mat. Just going to pull that in towards the center, or towards the hole. If you have a better way to do this, let me know what you would do. I didn't want to use glue dots. I considered them. This would take a lot of glue dots. Like, I don't know how many are on a roll, but probably half a roll, and I didn't want to do that. I like to be more economical. So you can see there's some adhesive on the inside of my circle, and if I close my card it would be adhered closed. So I'm going to make sure all that adhesive is only on the front of our card. All right, so now I'm going to use a few glue dots and some mini dimensionals. So where I have adhesive, I am just going to randomly put our flowers and acorns. And I might not talk too much while I do this because I'm thinking, let's spread those out a little. Oh, sorry, let me pull this card back in. You can see that I have some, I don't know if you can tell, some have glue dots on just to finish up the circle, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them do have mini dimensionals underneath. So I'm going to fill in most of it, overlapping as I go. And it's over here. Let me put this one here. You can see there's a little bit of adhesive between that acorn and this leaf, which is fine because then I can position another leaf or acorn on top of it. So just fill in as best you can, or as much as you want. Let's put another one there. I don't have adhesive there. We're almost done. So thank you for being with me today. Just need to finish this and then our sentiment. There we go. That's better. That one's so pretty. I think that's my favorite one. Oops, that one. That's pretty good. Let's fill it out with some with dimensionals and some with glue dots. This is the one I think I punched earlier. It's so dark. And where do we want this? I think right there. I don't know where my garbage is. And another dimensional. Just overlap them, I think, would be a good idea. I think this one we'll just use a glue dot. Find the last one, so I'm going to put it right in the middle there. So it's adhered to the glue dot. Put my thumb under. Now the glue dot's on the back of the leaf. And I know I wanted that one right there. A couple more spaces that need... Oh, isn't that beautiful? I love it. Fall is my favorite time of year, in case you didn't know that. My birthday's in September, and I love school, so that was always fun. Ooh, look at this one. Isn't that pretty? And the weather. I like cool weather. Cover up. There's a little bit of adhesive there, so I'm going to cover that up. I think maybe one more up here. Maybe an acorn. Which acorn do we like? I think this one. It's got a little spot on it, but I think it's probably realistic. All right. Look at that. It's so beautiful. I love it. Okay, and then to put our ribbon down, we're going to put, if I can get it started, a line of adhesive right down the middle. And I'm just going to go up and down and around. And then deciding if that's enough. Do we want to go, whoops, a little more? And then hold that there. Maybe a loop around the bottom here. And push that all down. Trim it off, use some dimensionals on our Have a Beautiful Day, and our card is done. Thank you for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want to know what products I used. I do try to put these cards onto my website. These are my stamps, North Star Stamper, these are my stamps.com. And what I like about that is it can show you a picture of all the products I used in a project. It makes it very easy for me to add that to my blog. So that's why I chose These Are My Stamps. There's our card for today. Thank you for joining me. Sorry for the mess. Make sure that's out of the way. Any questions you have, let me know. I'll stick around for just a minute. What birthdays do we have coming up? I'm trying to think. My daughter's is in a week, but I'm making her a different card that I'll have to get in the mail tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. Happy stamping and happy fall when it gets here. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.